Sup fellow new kids, this is FMoist94 with my review of South Park Season 22, Episode 6, Time to Get Cereal. Please note two things, this is my personal opinion, and obviously there will be spoilers. With that said, let's get down to the review. Let me start by saying I really enjoyed this episode. By golly, it's like 30 minutes of giving head to Al Gore and Red Dead Redemption 2. And they're not even done yet. What a marathon. But seriously, it's great. You know, we see Ned talk after so long while he's hunting with Jimbo. Al Gore and MVP make a return. Red Dead Redemption 2 has taken over the town. An episode jam-packed full of jokes with an interesting story that I can't wait to unfold. Now, let's get into the episode. So, the episode has two plots. The A plot, Stan witnesses MVP take Ned, and when a kid from school gets mauled, the police try to pin the debt and all the other maulings on Cartman and Kenny, so they must find Al Gore to stop MVP and clear their names. The B plot, Detective Harrison, is perplexed by the strange school shootings inside and outside of the school, which is taking time from his playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2. After deducing that Kenny and Cartman somehow did it, he must capture the boys so he can get back to his game. The episode is full of bloodshed and a real sense of urgency, with the four boys fighting against the odds, with a cliffhanger that, leaves us just curious, why is this happening and how are they going to get out of this? So let's get into how I'm going to structure this video. So firstly, I'm going to give a run through of plot A, then my thoughts, a run through of plot B, then my thoughts, a run through of the conclusion, then my thoughts, and then my thoughts on the story in general. So let's start off with plot A. So on a beautiful day, Jimbo and Ned are out hunting, where Ned blows up a bird with a shot, to Jimbo's disappointment. There they see bear and pig tracks, to which they follow into Tegrity Farms. After Randy, with Stan at his side, calls out and Jimbo explains he's tracking a bear, then they hear a squealing sound. Ned runs away in fear to run into Manbearpig. Jimbo tries shooting it, so Ned runs away, after which Manbearpig catches up with him and takes Ned with him. Kyle, Carmen and Kenny are discussing how Colin got mauled, which is the kid they saw on the playground, which I'll get into in plot B. Before Stan, scrunched up in fear, tells them it was this bear pig thing that took his uncle's friend Ned, and maybe was after him, as Colin kind of looks like him and it was at his house. Mr. Mackey calls Kenny and Carmen to the principal's office over the intercom. Stan is getting Kyle to search up about the creature. Though skeptical, he helps his friend, which leads them to a video. Stan tells Kyle how he saw Manbearpig. That guy who was telling them about Manbearpig was right. He can't seem to figure out his name though. Carmen and Kenny barge in, telling the two the police are trying to pin the murder on them. Stan asks if any of them remember who was warning them about Manbearpig. Kenny asks if they mean Al Gore. The boys go to Denver City to find Gore after showing a pic of him to the receptionist. They learn he is now some top bowler and he's always practicing at Gramercy Lanes. Stan introduces himself and his friends as the kids he enlisted to try and capture Manbearpig, and admits, he was right and now he is killing lots of people in this town. But Gore tells them that sucks for them. Kyle pleads, but Gore grudges them. They wouldn't take him cereal. Kyle asks him at least, tell them how to stop it. So, to which he tells them, when he originally warned them and they still had time. Stan asks if there is something they can still do and pleads, as he's the only one that knows anything. Gore tells them if they apologise. Carmen offers one, but Gore doesn't buy it. The boys hold a party for him, sing he's a jolly good fellow, give a "you were right about Manbearpig" signed picture of themselves, with Gore feigning modesty. Carmen makes a rebuttal to Stan's annoyance. Gore gets Kenny to put on a live-action reel of his campaigns and Academy Award. Of course, they learn he was only getting them to do that as payback for ripping on him. Carmen is insulted that after all, he's still not going to help them, to which Gore explains, He's moved from that life. Q, Red Dead Redemption joke. His family are wanted in Blackwater. They need to move their camp soon. Cameron asks, is he playing Red Dead Redemption? Gore says how it is amazing, but he doesn't know how to sell stolen goods. Hence, bargaining chip, so they get him to help them in exchange for how to sell stolen goods. Gore takes the boys to the storage unit and tells them that Manbearpig is a demon sent by Satan, showing them other such anthro-chimera abominations on his computer. After that, he gets the bright idea he should play Red Dead Redemption 2 on that computer with the 3 screens. Stan asks why Satan sent MVP, to which Gore scoffs at and points out, he's the devil, he's a dick. Gore puts on his robe and medal, saying, it's probably too late, but they can try doing a demonic summoning ritual after the boys get him cereal. The ritual side, Gore spilling chicken blood and feathers around the pentagram with a goat tied in the middle and candles at each point. And then has them saying Gore was right on Instagram Live. Stan calls them out for wasting their time and having no idea what he's doing. And so the goat gets ripped apart, leaving the pentagram on fire. Gore invites him to continue and thus Stan's frustratingly apologizes to a scene of Kyle asking questions to which Gore, makes look stupid, So basically, straight away when he, when it appears, then all of a sudden, the devil comes out of there. Gore introduces himself and asks Satan, why MVP is here, to which Satan says they should find the answers they seek in the library. Gore commands Satan to go with them there, which Satan agrees to. At the library, they are looking with Satan when Satan calls out to them. He tells them that MVP is a sifter of fate that makes deals where they tempt mankind, where they make a deal in exchange for mercy, but the carnage will be 100 times worse when the debt comes due. Cue Red Dead Redemption joke where Satan draws a comparison of it being like a gang feuding with a rival gang riding around like it won't catch up with them, but it always does. Gore asks, is he playing Red Dead Redemption 2? And Satan says it's so good, right? Now, what are my thoughts on Plot E? So the background of the field at the opening is just absolutely gorgeous. The quality of the background assets this season just has been just absolutely astounding. It's just amazing. I'm so happy to see Ned get some voice screen time. I really like Ned and Jimbo's dynamic. It always makes for some comedic gold. They really make Manbearpig so threatening. It makes me curious why MVP just, carried off Ned. I love how the kids are working together. It has been so long. It's hilarious how, darn forgettable Gore is to everyone. Up until we meet Gore, I was feeling like this episode could be 10 out of 10. But Gore's obnoxiousness. It was funny at the start, milking that, he was right about Manbearpig to get the kids to do anything he wanted. But it kind of got tiring very fast. They never made fun or ripped on him. Nobody did, yet he humiliates them. I will talk a little more about this in the conclusion. So, how their knowledge about Red Dead Redemption 2 was the bargaining chip was really interesting. Embarrassing the kids by getting the kids to say, Al Gore was right all along and that they should have listened to Al Gore on Instagram Live was really funny. I really enjoyed that part. The animation on the goat being ripped apart in thin air was a sight to behold. I felt sorry for the kids having to massage his ego. How Satan was so cooperative in telling them and doing what they needed. I also really liked that. They put Satan in glasses while he was reading. The thought of Manbearpig tempting humans to make deals with it is hilarious. Like why? Why would you do that? And despite the fact it could shapeshift, that takes away the impact of his form. Overall, it was really good, despite Gore's absolute obnoxiousness. As for Plot B, Detective Harrison tells his officers where to go before cue Red Dead Redemption 2 reference dismisses himself to rob a train in Valentine. But an officer tells him, a kid got killed in South Park Elementary and they need the police right away. Detective Harrison expresses, he's sick of all the school shootings. And this is the running joke where essentially they think of everything as a school shooting. So at the school, he is asked what grade the shooter was in. Strong woman expresses, "It doesn't look like a shooting," to which he scoffs at and asks where the victim, to which she points to a mauled corpse of a child. The officers are shocked. The detective is just pissed off, he's there, and threatens if the kid responsible doesn't step forward and makes him have to investigate instead of play his game, there will be serious hell to pay. After Kenny and Carmen come into the principal's office, he tells them to take a seat and explains how shitty it is being a cop when there are real emergencies where real people need real help, but he has to stop because some kid decides to shoot up the school. So asks, who of them had beef with Colin Brooks? Carmen responds, nobody gives a shit about Colin Brooks. So Harrison tells him how he went around the school and the kids thought the most likely person to shoot up the school is the fat ugly mean kid, which is Carmen, or the detached loner poor kid. And of course he's just pointing at them, but Carmen's ignoring. Carmen is just insulted at being called poor. Harrison asks, was it both of them? To fess up. Or Q start of Red Dead Redemption jokes, he got people in Horseshoe Overlook depending on him getting provisions so they can head back east. Carmen asks if he's playing Red Dead Redemption 2. He says that's right and he's going to make them pay, to which the boys realise they are fucked. Harrison explains in his report Kenny and Carmen are believed to have worked together. A warrant has been issued for their arrest, so the case is now in the hands of the DPA, or the DA. Why am I saying DPA? DA. But the boys, for the officers to put the boys away and don't wait for him to book him, as he will be playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the next 18 hours. An officer rains on his parade as he's walking out the door, saying there has been dead kids found by Stark's Pond. Harrison is pissed off. He's surprised about school shooting, and of course this is where again it gets just ridiculous. Where essentially he's surprised about a school shooting not at school. Come on, school's in the name. It's meant to be in a freaking school. Jesus Christ, Harrison is pissed off, and he could shoot all the kids himself. At Red Lobster, a family of 3 are having dinner where the parents are discussing the existence of Manbearpig. The father is skeptical, but the mother believes it. Then Manbearpig breaks into the restaurant, killing people left, right, and centre, to the dad's ignorance, as he is spouting his skepticism until his wife gets his attention. Her husband admits MVP is real, but what can they do now? To which she clutches her son and says they must do something, and he starts spouting how hopeless the situation is. Until he is killed. To be honest, good riddance. The police secure the scene at Baskin Robbins, so yeah, it seems like he went to a different place as well. So he wasn't just going at Red Lobster, he also was attacking the ice cream shop Baskin Robbins. They're continuing to call this situation a school shooting. Another officer tells Harrison that they cannot find the kids or their friends, so they conclude the 4 have been working together. The other officers tell him to go home and play Red Dead Redemption 2, and they'll find the boys in the meantime. Harrison goes home and plays Red Dead Redemption 2, but Maggie asks him to have supper with her. He tells her he wants to play a little, but realising that he has stuff he didn't have before, and asks her if she played. She admits he's never at home and she needs a life too, but he tells her how this is his life and he wanted to earn more honour points. She asks why can't they have a life together, to which he points out she did stuff without him. So he resets his game save. She tries to persuade him not to, but he's not budging, and she runs off crying and ends with calling her a fucking bitch. So, at the police station, he bitches about his wife to his officers, and he hasn't even gotten back to the brawl in the saloon. An officer points out that he can bypass that fight by hunting with Dutch, which is not appreciated by Harrison. Then tells his officers he wants the school. Now, what did I think of Plot B? Detective Harrison is an interesting character, and it's nice to see him get a major role as the foil to the kids stopping Manbearpig. But the police force's stubbornness and stupidity is a little too much for me. Each mess made by Manbearpig being a foil for Harrison playing Red Dead Redemption 2 was very funny. Instead blaming school shootings, but it is an interesting mentality given how many there are. It's not surprising their suspicion is frozen on school shootings, and maybe they're also holding resentment for trapping them in their station during Halloween, as he makes it pretty clear he doesn't see kids as real people or school shootings as real emergencies, instead just as a nuisance. It's very fascinating, that's for sure. The scenes of carnage in this episode are... Now let's get into the conclusion. So, in the library, they hear sirens and calls for the school shooters, the 4 boys, to come out with their hands up, as they are all surrounded. Carmen asks Gore to tell the cops it wasn't them. Gore says, no, cause they won't believe him, and how it's up to them now to convince everyone that Stan told them. Or what do I mean Stan? Every time I see Satan, I think it's Stan. Satan told them. It is a fate sifter demon who made a deal with someone in this town as he puts his medal on Kyle and his cape on Stan. Stan says, that's impossible. Then Gore agrees, it's hard. People won't believe you, make fun of you. Poor you guys. The boys walk out with their hands up, and Stan pleads for everyone to listen. He tells everyone, Manbearpig is real. It is a sifter demon that thrives on making deals to exploit mankind's weaknesses. I'm super duper serial. For just this once. For us to work together and maybe admit just this once. Maybe we were wrong. Harrison orders his officers to lock them up. They get cuffed, and he tells his officers he's going to rob a stagecoach in Scarlet and Meadows, and an officer congratulates him. Stan's grandfather watches the boys getting escorted into the police car. Before Stan is forced in the car, he says, they need to find out who made the deal with Manbearpig, to which his grandfather says, Billy, what have I done? Now for my concluding thoughts. As for the whole episode, Gore has been laying it on thick that, he was right. Finally the kids have been foiled. Ending on a fascinating note of what Stan's grandfather has done, and is he the one who made the deal? Why and for what? Again, it brings up what kind of conversation starter was there. How and why he would trust to make a deal with such a thing. I'm really interested to learn his nature. All we know is he is wild, bloodthirsty, dangerous, animalistic, volatile, but cunning feels like a foreign concept for Manbearpig. The Red Dead Redemption 2 references, followed by saying, how it's good. It was funny at the start, though it really got tiring very fast. But I love when a creator's current favourites or flavours of the month bleed into their work. It creates a more personal connection to an episode. It works quite well with the creative process being within a week. Though I do love the idea that all his crazy rantings were true, but couldn't there have just been less gloating and more action? Gore is an egotistical narcissist, and that is fine and all, but with this woe is me mentality, you just want him to shut the fuck up. This Red Dead Redemption 2 gushing, it's very annoying, and damn how fucking stupid the officers are despite the pig and bear droppings, the pig and bear tracks, and human excrement, and even freaking bear claws. Everything, even after everything, they still think it's a school shooting. It just dragged out a little too much. The whole story is really interesting. It's just these jokes are dragged out so much. Though I understand the thought processes of the characters, but it still just feels a little too much for me. I feel the more you watch it, the more the flaws pester you. And one of my final thoughts on it to wrap it up, I love that they are keeping a theme of, giving neglected characters some screen time. The boys are working together against the odds. Ned gets some voice lines, Al Gore, Manbearpig, Satan, and the detective get some screen time. I wanted to give this 10 out of 10 to start, but Gore and the detective, they just really became a drag. But above all, I can't wait to watch the next episode, and I have just no clue how this can be resolved. It's a really fascinating episode. So, I give Time to Get Cereal a grand score of 8 out of 10. So that's my review, or summary, of Time to Get Cereal. I'll be doing another review for the next episode as soon as I can. So if you enjoyed it, let me know by liking the video. Let me know, guys, what you thought about the episode in the comment section down below. If you guys would like to be notified of when I post my next review, consider subscribing to the channel and ring the notification bell. And guys, I'm definitely going to watch the next episode as soon as I can and try and get the review of that done very, very soon. So until next time, guys, fellow new kids, you take it easy. Goodbye.